Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be doing a rare revisit episode. Today is going to be Bosses Forever 2 Bro by developer TooDX. It's a game that I absolutely loved when I had covered it back, it was quite a few months ago, still in the beta version of the game, and it's been a while. They've refined it, they've polished it, they've tweaked it a bit, and they've made it a little bit smoother and sleeker and a little bit more enjoyable, hopefully, for everyone. So in case you missed the original episode, Bosses Forever sort of plays out like a sort of an ever-evolving Mega Man boss with a retro artistic style to it and an absolutely wonderful soundtrack. So every time we fight one of these tiers of the boss, we're going to essentially be fighting it as it is for that floor. It's going to learn from what we do, readapt into the next version of itself, and then we're also going to get to pick a power-up, whether that be refilling 33% of our health, getting a little bit more in terms of our gun power, or extending our maximum health. And so we're going to be playing this balancing game, trying to outlast and outpower the enemy that's also going to be getting stronger. So it's a bit of a difficult battle and very interesting to see this in motion. The developers have added a ton of new patterns to the boss, as it were. So we're going to be hopefully experiencing some of that today. So let's look through the menus here. There's not a whole lot to see, but we do have a high scores menu. I did do a run before I started on this version. I think I got up to, number 12, which I think is pretty good for me. I don't think I've gotten that far before, and I am using a 360 controller on this in case you were wondering. There are our credits. As you can see, they were inspired by Mega Man, so I was kind of right on that one. It's fairly obvious, honestly. And our controls, pretty simple stuff. Again, I'm going to be using 360 controllers, so you don't really need to even worry about that if you have one. I didn't even need to use Joy-to-Key or anything. I thought that they recommended that you use Joy-to-Key, but, you know, it just worked. And we have our choice between our two bros. We can pick from Rancho or Bancho. I'll just stick with the default character. Seems like a cool guy. Instructions: 1 tower, 2 bros, all of the bosses. Climb your way to the tower, or up the tower, defeating bosses. Bosses learn as you fight them. They learn how you move and how you fight. They adapt to you, constantly improving. As the boss gets stronger, they gain new abilities. Bosses Forever does not end. Goes as far as you can take it. So, pretty good. And you can play, of course, in solo or bro-op mode. And if you've got a bro with you, I definitely recommend you bring a friend. Seems like a good idea. So here we go. Round 1, fight. So we're just a simple dude with a simple pistol. We have the ability to grab onto walls. We can do a little bit of dashing and such. Dashing probably recommended. The boss at the first floor does not really want to put up much of a fight. It just sort of goes up in the air a little bit. Puts up a shield every now and then. I really do love the detail also of having the shell casings all over the floor. I think I mentioned all this stuff in the original video. So it might be worth actually comparing this version to the beta version and see what you think. We can pick between, again, max health increase plus 33% health, or raising power to make us have a stronger shot. I'm going to go with basically whenever we're in a good spot, I'm going to go ahead and raise our gun power, because the faster we can mow down enemies, I think the longer we're going to last. So there is a chance that we might get into some trouble here depending on which the enemy decides to employ in terms of weapons. That boomerang comes back. So we've got a tracking bullet on the floor and a boomerang to watch out for. So that's going to be the base for this enemy. And as long as we remember to jump over this stuff, shouldn't be all that scary. So another power-up. We could also put some into increasing our health, which would be pretty useful too. Because eventually things are going to start to outpace us, but I don't know at what point that will be. Alright, so we've got these guys, which I believe explode. Oh no, they turn into 2 splitting bullets, and we've got this big old laser beam that I can just barely clear if I jump over. I just want to make sure my gun is powerful enough so I don't have to get into too much difficulty. Oh, that's a big laser. You might wonder, like, what changes visually about the enemy as we get further on. I believe the enemy does actually change color a little bit. I did notice I had a different looking... Oh, I didn't quite get out of the way there. I saw the sunglasses on it seem to look a little bit different, and the background on the floors seems to change every so often. It might have been every 5 floors, but I could be wrong on that. So we're going to raise our power again. We're at power number 4 now, and the bullets actually, I think, change color as well, depending on how powerful they are. So you might be able to use that to gauge how strong the boss is as well. I'm not entirely positive on that. But it is an interesting game trying to judge what kind of moves are going to be at the boss's disposal. That was a little bit risky. And then trying to adapt to them just as quickly as the boss adapts to you. It's, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of... Well, obviously the Mega Man bosses, like I said earlier, but there was another boss in, like, I think it was Blaster Master for the NES that it would, like, multiply, and then it would change tactics on you. I'm not sure if it was very much, you know, as intelligent as this boss seems to come across, but still an interesting proposition nonetheless. Alright, beautiful. Great graphic, too, when the boss explodes. I just love seeing the explosion, the little bits going everywhere, taking up the whole screen like that. It's very colorful, very energetic. You'll notice my bullets now seem to be a little bit bigger, and they seem to be like a navy blue now or something. Oh god, I thought I could somehow get under that, and then I realized there was not nearly enough space for me. He's going to shoot another laser. Yeah, that's an interesting spot to shoot it, because it means I've got to jump up on the wall, or it's going to smack me every time. The boss has a big old pile of invincibility frames, so I have to make sure I compensate for that. I can't just basically sit and wail away at the dude, because he's not going to really care all that much. I mean, I can, but it's not going to really result in him dying much faster. Alright, there we go. Almost looked like took out my bro there and landed right on top of me. So we're up to power level of 6. We should be doing a substantial amount of damage, but the boss is also gaining health just about as fast as we're gaining power, so I'm not exactly sure how useful that is. I think it's a, sort of a battle of attrition in this case, and you know, like I read earlier, there is no winning bosses forever. It's just as long as you can hang on, and eventually the difficulty curve will start to kick your butt, and you're not really going to have an option but to lose. So, I imagine, though, if you're very meticulous in your approach to the boss, and you start to really learn some of the patterns and get those down, because, you know, even though there's a ton of them, there is still a finite number of them, and the human brain is capable of so much more. I'm going to actually put in a plus to max health here, just to make sure that when I start getting the percentages, there's a little bit more to draw from, to perhaps give me a bigger health boost. So I do have to survive this boss, of course, for that to really count at all. And I'm hoping that I don't take any more damage. If I don't take any more damage on this fight, I'll probably buy health restoration. Well, boss is now cloning and shooting grenades. That actually was substantially easy. That was way easier than they usually go. Yeah, we'll do a heal, just to get that out of the way, and then I should have probably put in another power at some point, but, you know, I've been focusing pretty heavily on that. That's just my strategy anyway. You guys can feel free to employ whatever strategies seem to make sense to you at the time. I could imagine this becoming, like, the engine to something so much bigger than just fighting this one enemy. I think, like, if this enemy started to change forms and, like, became totally, like, different-looking beasts, and maybe, I mean, this is just sort of getting a little ridiculous, but I could totally see this fitting into, you know, being the last section of a Mega Man-styled, like, full-featured platformer game, that there's just this boss that keeps coming back in different forms every time and keeps evolving based on how you react to it during the actual game, you know, in the other stages. I think that could be kind of a cool feature. I've never really seen that done before, where the game actually really adapts to you in a shooter, arcade, action-style game. So they certainly have something going with that. Alright, so these bullets are all over the screen now. They seem to be getting in the way. As long as I shoot the pink ones pretty quickly, they're not going to pose much of a threat to us. They just spread out and dissipate. The ones that are volleying up and down like that, though, I'm not sure shooting them seems to do much of anything. Because it may even block my shots. I've had that happen before. So this Frisbee plasma beam thing, I gotta watch out for that. That could be a real problem. Oh, one more hit should do it. There we go. So that was boss number 9. We're gonna go up to power level of 8. I'd like to get up to 10 if we could. That would feel really nice. And if I could beat my top score, that would be fantastic as well. But, you know, keep my expectations low. We'll see what happens. All I need is one really bad round, and all of a sudden, any skills that it looked like I had are gonna go right out the window. Really, really important to stay up on the walls sometimes. I mean, sometimes you can get away with it longer than others where you don't bother so much, but depending on how the boss acts, you're definitely going to want to make sure you remember that that's an option. Basically, you don't have very many options. You got to take advantage of the ones that you do. Oh, is he already that low in health? Alright, I think we're getting kind of an easy seed on this one, so I'm kind of appreciating that. By this point in my other game, the boss seemed to have been a bit harder, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'm more skillful? I kind of doubt it. Doesn't feel like it. I should mention, of course, this game is totally free. If you want to go ahead and grab it, you can do so freely. You can play it on the website, or you can download the client for it. I believe it's available on all 3 Mac, Windows, and Linux, so pretty much whatever you're into, go give it a play. It's playable, again, in browser or a download. And they also have a Greenlight campaign for this, and I'd really love to see some votes heading in their way if you think this is a cool concept. definitely seems like it's very well fleshed out, very fun, very easy to jump into, and surprisingly addictive as well. I think that was generally the reception on the last video as well. It didn't seem like very many people had negative things to say about it, which, you know, on the internet, that's pretty substantial and significant. And I think a lot of people got hooked on it, which is awesome. You know, obviously, it would be awesome if you could play this online co-op, but, you know, that is a whole nother level of trying to program stuff. And, you know, having local co-op is already pretty awesome as it is. So let's get to level 10 on our power meter, and we should be substantially powerful enough to handle most of these bosses. Now, we may actually be outpacing some of these. I'm probably doing nearly an entire life bar with each hit, and we now have these, like, lime green attack bullets, which is pretty cool. This bullet seems to be homing and then splits in half. I've got to memorize what these are, and I've only taken a couple of hits so far, so that's hopefully where we can keep things for a good while. You get underneath and start shooting a bit. Thankfully, this boss seems to be reasonably low in the shield department. That's one thing that can really mess me up sometimes, when the boss is just covered in shields and you can never get a hit in no matter what you do. That laser can be a bit of a problem too, because it actually does block your shots. One more. There we go. And that actually does erase whatever happens to be on the screen at the time. Do I go for power level 11, or do I think I go for max health again, because I think we're going to start to get outpaced pretty quickly if I don't start putting on a little bit of health. But once things start to really break down in terms of my ability to parse what's going on the screen, or the reaction time that I need becomes a little bit faster than I'm practiced for. Ooh, like that might have been. See, that could be a problem. That's a little scary. You'll see as the Robot Master's glasses seem to have changed colors to some sort of purple now. And I'm running out of room. It seems like the boss is launching things in all directions now. But we're still hanging in there, little by little. We've got clones. The clones are a little dangerous for me. And I'm just going to tank that shot and take another hit there. Maybe I should get a heal in. Pretty sure that'd be a good idea. Heal seems substantially useful at this point. And also, there is sort of like a stacking factor to it. Like, the more health I have, obviously, the more that percentage is going to be worth in terms of heal. So if I had to, I could really give myself some serious padding by getting further into the game with a lot more health, and then that one heal is actually going to make a pretty big difference. Obviously, you know, when you're first starting out, that 33% is not going to get you far. But when you've got 6 or 7 health bars, 33% is going to mean that you can actually take a lot of hits. So then if you survive through a particularly easy level or floor, or whatever we're calling it, you may actually end up with a big advantage there, and then you can parlay that into a little bit more weapon power, because that's really the name of the game. If you can get all the weapon power, you're going to be good to go. In fact, you're gonna have to have the weapon power. It's not really negotiable. I almost got over there. It didn't quite happen. Probably should be using a little bit more dash. All right. Oh, one more hit. Where's he going? Just keep firing up. There we go. Now, remember when I had played this previously, there were like some issues with flicker, or like issues with projectiles having like issues like flashing off the screen or not really quite landing properly, it felt like. That all seems to be remedied. I haven't really noticed much of anything that I would call into question in terms of bugs. So, you know, that's the way it should be, being that this is like a final release version. But, you know, it's nice. Not that I expect everybody to nail everything every single time. Some bugs will happen, no matter how careful you are. But this seems well polished, and I do appreciate that very much. And I'm doing a lot of damage with these yellow shots. Oh, I got right in the way of that. Provided I can live through this fight, I should be able to get a heal in, which should count for quite a bit. And I'm probably just going to do the one run through this right now, because I've reached a new record. I've never gotten this far before. So we're going to do a 33% heal. That number 39.17, I guess, corresponds with like a numerical value for my total health or something like that. Man, did you see his health bar go up each time? This is flung through the top. It would be kind of cool to see the health bar represented in a different way that's a little bit more relatable. This is chaotic. Oh my goodness. Because like right now, the fact that it's like that color blue almost means nothing to me. I don't actually know how many life bars there are going to be. So maybe just an actual number value underneath that, or a percentage value, could be kind of cool. But then again, maybe part of the mystery, or the stress factor, is not knowing exactly how much health is left on the boss. You know, you can kind of keep track as you go, but after a while it's going to be very hard to just sight read unless you know the exact terminology of whatever these colors represent. And I do not. Maybe I'll learn someday. Alright, so I think we're about there. Yes, we are. I'd also love to see as you get into some of the crazy high levels of power, like maybe you could get a tri-shot or something, or some kind of like actual physical upgrade to the gun instead of it just being more powerful. I'd like to see maybe different bullets. Even if it's just a cosmetic thing, it does feel kind of cool if you could have something that just sort of pictorially looks a little bit more powerful than just the little, you know, straight rectangular bullets like that. But that's just a personal thing, I suppose. Not necessary, really. Things are getting very chaotic at this point. I've been pretty fortunate to have a reasonably easy seed starting out, so let's see if I can make it past this floor. Boss number 17, I think, is as far as I've ever made it. I don't even know which one's the real one at this point. We've got grenades everywhere, we've got exploding shots, we've got things bouncing around. I'm just shooting at whatever happens to be near me, and everything is starting to explode, and things are really getting out of hand right now. Oh, goodness gracious, I can't keep track of where everybody is. I don't even know if I'm hitting the boss at all. I may not actually be, and I think I'm about to lose here. Oh my goodness, that is wild. How am I supposed to... Ugh, yeah, that was bound to happen at that point. So that's me. That's where I got with that. Can I... Not sure how to handle this with the controller here. Where's backspace? Oh, there it is. I just want to get Mar put in as my initials because that's how I like to do things. So that's probably my record, and I think that's where we're going to be with Bosses Forever for this one. Highly, highly recommended. I really like this game. I would love it if you guys could show some support over on the Greenlight campaign. I'd love to see this end up on Steam. If that's something that you guys are into, and go just play it. Go play it and see how far you can get. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. And if you can get as far as I could get, or if you get way further to see if there's anything crazy that happens later on. Let me know what you think about the patterns, how the AI worked for you, if you had any particularly interesting combinations of attacks that happened, where it felt like the tide started to turn against you. I'm curious about all these things, because as it's a sort of experimental kind of game, it sort of bears mentioning all those little details and the nitty-gritty about how things come together. So please do let me know all that stuff in the comments. There you can see my record up there on the high score list. It'd be cool if that had like Steam integration. We could see what our friends all had. I think that would make me very competitive with this game, to be perfectly honest. But then again, if this is sort of randomized, I'm not sure if we'd all be on even ground when we're fighting each other, but who knows? Another thing to ponder in the comments, perhaps. So go play it. Links in the description. Go download a copy. Play it online. Go vote on Greenlight, and let me know what you think in the comments again for the millionth time. Of course, my other information is in the description as well, so if you want to find out more about me and the series, I've got my Twitter in there, I've got my Facebook in there, I've got my Twitch page in there, and I've got Indie-Impressions in there, which is where you can go to find nearly 700, I think we're a couple of episodes away from 700 at this point, episodes of Indie Impressions. So if you want to find an indie game for you, whatever that game might be, there's probably something over there for you on the site. You can use all the sorting mechanisms, find something that's either free, that's paid, happens to be a particular type of game, genre-wise, whatever you're into. Go have a look. And that'll be it for today, so thank you everybody for watching. Please do leave some support, and I will see you again tomorrow. Hope you have a lovely night, and I'll talk to you later.